As SWAT teams tried to bring an end to a hostage situation today, they found it had already come to a deadly conclusion. But that's just part of the story. We'll break it all down for you, plus dig deeper into the past of the couple at the center of it all, including much happier times when they appeared together right here on Channel 2 News. Well, we've been working the crime beat all day, and tonight we have team coverage for you. Amanda Ketchlich has obtained court documents and will tell us about the violent history between the family. But we want to start with Ryan Canada, who was at the scene all day. Ryan, today's events all started when a man was found dead inside a North Reno home, right?
Yeah, that's right, Ari. Early this morning, the Reno Police Department responded to a North Reno home where a woman found one of her two roommates dead from gunshot wounds. When police got there, they learned that a third roommate, Debby Constantino, was missing, and her estranged husband, Mark Constantino, may be the suspect.
The target apartment that we're looking at today, that we've been out here on, does belong to their child in common.
Police say this is where Mark Constantino took his estranged wife, Debby, against her will after allegedly killing her roommate. Officers were able to locate both Mark and Debby by pinging their cell phones, bringing officers to the Courtside Garden Apartments in Sparks. Investigators tell me when they tried to talk to Mark, the situation turned violent.
At that point, we heard shots were fired from inside. A male voice told us to leave.
Police set up a perimeter and waited for both Reno and Sparks SWAT teams to arrive. They were able to get a hold of Mark on the phone and through negotiations found out Debby was also inside the apartment and being held hostage.
The major focus of that conversation was for everyone to come out and for this to end peacefully and nobody to get hurt.
After several hours of attempting to get Constantino to surrender, the SWAT team stormed the apartment.
The SWAT team's plan to make entry was applied at that time, and two people were found deceased in the apartment. We want to make sure we do the absolute best investigation we can for the families involved. Obviously, there's a lot of folks impacted by this, and this is a huge tragedy for a lot of people. It's horrible. It's horrible.
And the Sparks Police Department say no officers shot any rounds and no one else was injured by gunfire when they did enter into the apartment. Investigators continue to work on determining the cause of death of the man in North Reno, as well as Debby and Mark Constantino. Covering Crime Beat live in the newsroom, Ryan Canada, Channel 2 News.
Okay, Ryan, thank you for that. Well, let's bring Amanda Ketchlich into the conversation now. Amanda, the couple was featured on Channel 2 several years ago, but court records show they have quite a violent history as well.
That's right, Ari. We first met Mark and Debby Constantino back in 2007. They were both paranormal investigators, specializing in EVP, electronic voice phenomena, or ghost voices on tape. But according to court records, their relationship turned violent earlier this year.
Do you still spend time with Marilyn?
This is video we shot with Mark and Debby Constantino back in 2007. We met up with them several times as they attempted to speak to ghosts through Nevada and across the country.
Back the lights out. They don't like light.
Their website, spiritspeak.com, shows the couple and their numerous nationwide visits to different conventions. But how the couple appeared on camera and at events was dramatically different from the picture painted by recently obtained court records. In March of this year, Debby Constantino was arrested at a home in North Reno. According to the records, she and Mark were fighting over money when she scratched him. It escalated and she allegedly sliced his arm with a kitchen knife. She was charged with domestic violence and battery with a deadly weapon. She was never able to have her day in court. Then, just 6 weeks ago, Mark, along with her daughter Raquel, allegedly went to a home, pulled Debby out of a car by the neck, and then dragged her inside. Documents accuse Raquel and Mark of beating Debby to the point of breaking her nose and causing bleeding. Records say Mark then strangled her, causing her to nearly pass out. Raquel was charged with kidnapping, domestic battery, and vehicle burglary. Mark was charged with kidnapping, domestic battery by strangulation, and domestic battery. We also heard from many of you on our social media sites asking why Mark Constantino was let out of jail after being accused of kidnapping Debby. In these court documents we obtained, it showed that kidnapping is usually a no bail charge, but in this case, both Mark and Raquel were granted bail by a local judge. Mark's bail was set at $40,000, which was allowed to be paid by bond, and Raquel was set at $30,000, also bondable. Both Raquel and Mark, though, were ordered to stay away from Debby Constantino. Covering Crime Beat live in the studio, Amanda Ketchlich, Channel 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you. And be sure to stay with Channel 2 News as this story develops.